Builders, welcome to the channel where we build financial power. I'm Matt.
I'm Potter.
Let's talk some crypto today. Let's talk some nerd stuff of the cyber world that some people don't know what the hell is going on. I'm excited to learn about it. Let's touch on some key terms today. If this is boring, then just flip the channel.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for some good information, you got it right here. I'm in the process of learning even more about crypto. Potter over there, just a uber friggin' genius in this world, whether she wants to admit it or not. In the crypto world, she's pretty dang good at it. None of this is financial advice. By all means, do your own research. The whole gamut of do your own research and what they say.
The disclaimer land.
That thing, you see the thing down there? You see it down there? Follow that. Follow that always. I keep hearing because I'm watching a lot of crypto content, trying to immerse myself in this world as being a creator in a different world. And I keep hearing invest your own risk capital. And I like the way that's said, but that even sounds almost, does that sound like almost sounds like financial advice to say invest your risk capital?
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't think of it like that. That's a very good point.
I like how that's put, but at the same time, it's like, it kind of, anyway, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Today, I wanted to touch on some just basic terminology. I feel like if you're diving into the world of crypto, trying to learn, you're going to hear a bunch of words that are thrown at you. So Thursdays, we go live at 10 a.m. Eastern, talking about a lot of the basics. And then on Friday, we have a fun another show at 10 a.m. Eastern that we touch on a project that we love. And I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be fun as well. So what is a friggin' block? People have heard the term blockchain. So Potter, somebody came to you and they're like, hey, what's a block? What is a block?
So on the blockchain, kind of sounds stupid. You know, the teachers say, don't use the word in the definition.
Yep.
There is data that can be put in each little block of a blockchain. And usually there's a bunch of transactions that are housed in that little block. So let's say you did a transaction and you say, okay, I bought 100 million Bitcoin. That data would be contained on a block of the blockchain. So that's where it's from. And the way to think of it is a little ledger block. You know, we talked about ledgers. Just think of it as a little ledger block, except it's electronic.
Yep. So that block is basically the amount of ledgers of transactions.
No, each block, and bad description by me. So each block can contain a lot of transactions, right? So, just think of it like a post office box. Just a whole bunch can go inside of a specific box. It might be small, but you can put a lot in there.
Okay, got it. Is there like a certain limit of ledgers or stuff that can go in that box? Yeah,
for each chain, yes, there is a limit, but I would have to look that up.
Yeah, no, you're good. We're keeping it simple here. That's what I want.
I thought you were going super geek.
No, not that deep. Because I mean, you need some. I want subsurface stuff for right now. You know, like I don't need to know as of right now, like the meta of the block.
Right.
So we'll get there.
Let me tell you why I think it's a good question, because you have to get out of thinking like in our world, you know, you have your wallet, I've got it on me, right? A block, where's my money, you know? Right? So what is a block? Understanding, you know, the core component. It's where all of your data is stored. That's a good thing, because you are moving from something that you can hold to something that you have to conceptually understand. So I think it's a really good question. Yeah,
without a doubt. And you're 100% right that like from not knowing that breeds fear. You know, I think we've said it before, from ignorance breeds fear. And the more you learn, the less fear you'll have. Not to say that you just trust everything willy-nilly, but So moving on, the term altcoin, you hear it thrown around quite a bit. It feels like a simple one, but I never want to assume. Altcoin, is that simply just not Bitcoin?
So tell me how you've heard it.
I've always heard it as Bitcoin was the standard. It was made by Satoshi Nakamoto. That's what came up. And then everything after Bitcoin has been considered an altcoin. Even Ethereum is an altcoin. Yeah,
that is correct.
Okay.
And so any coin that is not Bitcoin is an altcoin.
Yep.
And they also call it an S coin.
Oh,
I've always wanted to hear that "we won't" when I say something. Can we get the editor to put in a "we won't" when I say something?
I think so.
So yeah, shitcoin, you know. So
Oh, okay. There we go. I think that's the different context.
yeah. So
Nice. Okay. Very nice. TVL, total volume locked. Value locked. My bad. Total value
some
locked.
people say value, some people say volume. So
Okay.
it depends on what you're looking at. So
Okay.
your total volume, it's like, okay, how much traffic are you getting to have this, $200,000 token price, right?
Mhm.
If you have like you and your mom, is that like, is that just 2 trades going on, or do you have millions of trades? It's how some people look at the value of it. So when people are looking at Phantom, when I got on it last year, that's a blockchain.
Very nice.
We looked at it as, wow, this thing is so powerful. It's got everything that you want on it. Why aren't people here? They were looking at the volume and they were like, nobody else is here, so there must be nothing going on. Right? So volume is a good indicator of that. Sometimes the TVL, or the amount of money that you have locked in, can be deceiving.
Okay.
Because you can have a bunch of whales locked in, and then you come in and you're like, yeah, I'm going to be rich too, sucker. And then they sell, right?
Okay.
And it's gone. TVL is just gone. Sometimes, like with Tomb Finance, also on Phantom, they had over 1 billion TVL. And I was like, this is not ever going to go away. Something happened, not technical, just perception of words.
Yeah.
And now it's having a hard time, keeping that 1 billion TVL. And we're talking about value lock versus volume.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. The term whales you just use, if you've never heard that term, basically that's somebody coming in with big money, big money that's coming in. And so that creates, like what you just said as a translation, if somebody didn't get it, when someone comes in with a bunch of money, it makes it seem like, oh man, the value of what this crypto is much, much higher than what it really is, because when those 5 people, 10 people, whatever walk away that are whales, the price plummets because so much capital is taken away from it. So it's not artificial, but it's artificially inflated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it is. It's 100% artificial. And I used to think that people were reading a little bit into it, right? I thought that they were kind of making it up. I'm like, nobody sits around and says, here, little retail investor, but they really do. They really, really do. And it's not that they create them. They find out about them. They go put their money there, wait for people to see it go up, and then they snatch it all away. So one of the things that people like to do when you get a little bit more advanced is you're able to say, all right, every token has a contract address. And so you can go look at that contract and look at the holders, right? If something's worth $100 billion and there's like one holder, it's pretty. That's really crazy. But if there's like 100 or 1,000 people who are holding it, no, that's not a good sign to go in.
Okay.
One person's gone, it's over.
Understood. Okay. Yeah. And so what she's referring to is there are ways to figure out how many people are in a certain crypto. So that's how you would sort of determine, is this artificially inflated or is it real? So basically what you're saying is, if a certain crypto you find or are into is at a certain TVL, like it's got this much money in it, if you see 16 people in it, which I feel like that would even be too low of a number.
It's way too low.
So what would be like, oh crap, this is scary, but this is how many people's in it, a low number of people?
I think it's different for somebody who's completely like, an ape and just roar, and they just jump in.
Yeah.
Maybe 1,000. They think, oh my God, I'm here so early.
Okay. 1,000 is still pretty low.
But for 1,000, for me, I'd be like, no.
Risky. Okay.
Because part of decentralization is to say that, not one person can affect everything, right? So
Okay.
you're so busy not trusting each other. Everybody has to make sure that everyone is, okay.
Yeah. So the more people that are in the quote unquote less risk, quote unquote, not
Yeah.
financial advice.
Well, so it is people and the amount that certain people have. So if you have like 1,000 people and the TV looks like 1 million, but two people are holding $750,000 of that value, and
Sure.
one of them is not the burn address or the contract address.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you probably should say, you know what? I'll wait.
Yeah.
The example that I give is because it's a visual. As I tell people, if you went to a pier and the most beautiful cruise ship is there, but it's leaving the port, you're not going to run and jump in the water and try to swim after it, right?
That's a good
You're
way.
going to wait for the next one,
Yep.
right? And that's what you have to do in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
There, do not FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't do it.
Yep.
I'm only good at this because of Matt. Um, don't do it. You will always regret it. And if you're trying to get into this stuff, as a gamer, just you have to be patient and watch other people. The same way when you play a game, you go online, you go to Twitch, you watch somebody play the game, if you're really interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
This is crypto. This can actually have a monetary value.
Yep.
So you want to be super careful. You don't just run after something because it's, oh my God, it's not your last chance. There's going to be thousands of them in your lifetime.
That's actually interesting. And I'm going to go off script here. You spoke about game, and one of the things I've learned is game theory, which you and I were into something currently that we'll talk about tomorrow that is based on game theory. And so I looked up game theory, and game theory has been mistaken for bad marketing. And I've seen that it's actually been used to be bad, but game theory can be used and is being used in certain cryptos to drive an interest for getting into that crypto. So do you know much about the game theory?
Yeah.
Yeah. What an interesting concept.
It really is. And it happens right now in financial markets, right? But they're just so for the very, very wealthy people. So we don't get to know about them.
Okay.
But they do that too. Speculation is a form of it.
Okay.
That price is not real, but it might be though. How many of us agree that it might be? The dollars speak. That's how many.
Yeah.
You know?
I believe it was Robinhood, the app that was told they had to, by whatever regulating agency, I guess it would be the SEC? Would it be the SEC?
I think
the SEC came to them, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but they came to them and said, like, you got to tune down the app a little bit. There's so much fun. And like when you'd make a purchase, like confetti would fly. And there was so much I don't know I don't know if that's actually considered game theory, but they made it enticing to press purchase. They made it enticing to be really inside the app. So I believe that that's some of the same thing. I could be wrong, but it's just interesting to see some of that play out even in traditional money. And that's another concept of what I was thinking of. There's so much that's being done in crypto that is been done in the traditional finance for years. But yeah, I thought that was interesting about Robinhood. I remember reading that, and that was a while back.
There's another kind of game theory. So think about Tomb again, right?
Okay.
And that's called the Seigniorage project. Oh my God, when somebody said Seigniorage project to me, I thought my brain was going to break.
Yeah.
I went and I looked at all of the explanations and like, I don't get it. Right? Yeah. And so the bottom line is that you peg a token to a certain price, right?
Okay.
Then you have another token that can give you the token that's pegged to that peg token price, right?
Okay.
And as long as it's over peg, because there's a treasury, it'll give you funds. And I'm like, my brain. But after I started playing it and, I saw the way it worked, the interesting part about it was the key component that made everybody go, it made it feel like in Monopoly, when somebody went to jail,
Yeah.
how they couldn't collect money if you landed on their property.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that same feeling. Once it hits peg, we're all happy because it's now giving us a token.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But once it loses that peg, then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh no. They're acting like people on the Animal Farm. Oh no, it's all over.
Okay.
It's all over. It's like, no, it's part of the game. It's supposed to be above peg. If it falls below peg, then there's another token that you can contribute to have it go above peg again. But a bunch of people have to believe in it and participate. And what happens in a project where people are just greedy, it's really hard to get them to be motivated, to participate, because a lot of people are just there for the money.
Yeah.
But the thing about this project was it was $1 billion, right? I'm like, there's no way that rich people don't like to let go of their money. They're not going to put $1 billion into something. They understand that this is a game, and the loss must be a part of what they need. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So it's very interesting because a lot of it, one of the reasons I was able to pick up on it was because of Drip. It was not like Drip, because Drip is a crypto,
by the way. So it's altcoin. Go ahead.
Yes. Drip has the ability for you to compound it. It has a way, there's taxes built in, but with Seigniorage, there's no penalty. If you just want to say, I'm out, done.
Interesting. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
There's no incentive to stay in. If there's a whale, okay, the whale can just come in, contribute a lot, maybe even help the whole ecosystem. But I don't think a whale would really go into that one alone. You would have to go in with a group of people. But the reason that I'm explaining this very confusing process is because there's so many different ways that you can play game theories.
Okay.
You can literally play a game, right? So, and that, as a matter of fact, on Crypto Banter, another good show if you want to go check out, they were talking about how they feel that games are leading people out of this crypto slump we're in.
Really? Oh, yeah. Okay, got it. Taking us out of the slump. Interesting. Okay, got it. And you've mentioned that many times, and I'm starting to see more of that. Maybe it's that piece of, now I have some awareness, so now I'm starting to notice it thing. But
yeah, it is.
I saw something yesterday, and it was like a gaming aspect to mine the actual currency in the game, and my head was like, not at but that's super interesting. And for somebody that's not even really into games, the concept of playing a game to make money, I know that that's happening. And that's crazy, super crazy.
There's this one game that I want to play so bad, but to play it, I'd have to put in $18,000.
Oh, what? I thought you were going to say put in a bunch of time. 18 grand? What?
Just to even get in the low end. But it pays out about 1,000 a day.
Okay. All right.
But I'm like, I just, part of our show is called the name of the show is Build, right? And neither Matt or myself have completed building.
Correct.
So why would I go do that? I mean, it would be so much fun. Yes, I would have ROI. I'd make it back in 18 days, but you have to be disciplined in this thing no matter what you do. If you have an idea, you do that idea. Do not break from your strategy, because then you'll just break it, and then you'll be, why did I get into this, and blaming people when it was just you.
Yep. You know what? That leads me to my perfect question for that, and last question of the show for you. If you had to rank these, like one has to come, like it's got to be in order, 1, 2, and 3. How would you rank this? for getting into crypto, investing and everything, experience, knowledge, and patience. How would you order those? I feel like that's a tough question. I know. I feel like that's a tough question. It's subjective.
Yeah.
But how would you say that?
Like you automatically want to say patience, right? But knowledge. No, not knowledge. What was the middle one?
Experience, knowledge,
Experience.
Patience.
Knowledge. Experience, knowledge, patience.
You think it's in that order, really?
Yeah, because you have to have some level of experience in technology. Like you have to understand what a web browser is. You have to understand what a bad link is. You have to understand that people contacting you to say that they're support or not support. You have to understand.
Literally in like chat. Literally in chat. Like if you're in a Telegram chat and somebody's like, hey, I'm here to help you.
Telegram chat, emails, phone calls. Yeah. You just have to be so used to that. You know, you hear somebody like, no, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to have the knowledge of what is banking.
That's very true.
And how does this work? Right? You have to have knowledge of process and what do successful people do to grind, and then patience. You know, quote Warren Buffett, even though he was completely wrong about crypto. But that's okay. He's right about everything else.
It's so interesting you bring that up because I've followed him for a long time. He's like the goat of traditional finance. It's very strange for me to hear that concept. It's very.
Hey, Steve Jobs. I remember when I was working at AOL, I was waiting for a friend at a doctor's office, and I picked up a magazine. It was a Fortune magazine, and Steve Jobs said he called the internet the pet rock.
Get out of here!
I lost instant respect for him.
That's
right?
Crazy.
I think he still turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
He just pivoted and, went there. So you know, Warren Buffett, when he saw it coming, he was like, he saw the actors who were involved with it. And he was like, no way. So going back to what he was saying was, the impatient feed the patient.
Yep.
And I've witnessed it.
Yep.
Like, we'll talk about it tomorrow on this one play that we're doing. People are just like, hair on fire, running around. And it's like, if I was in it for a short time, if I thought, oh my God, I shouldn't even be doing this, and I see something that I don't understand, I got in too high that I need to wait, I would be acting just like them.
Yeah.
I would be mad at the developer, I'd be mad at myself, and I'd be incredibly impatient.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah, it was super interesting to hear.
What about you? What do you think?
So I don't think you're wrong. I think it's subjective, and I think what it boils down to is what your experiences are. Like I've already seen that some of my own business experience, I've been reached out to many times by people that are not real, and then people that are real of trying to do sponsorships and stuff like that. So I know I can look at the wording and tell when it's fake in an email. I can just tell. I've had so many fakes that I can tell. And I've had it happen in Telegram chats that I was like, I don't know if that mod is real or not. So I'm extremely wary, and that's a good thing. I'm not paranoid.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
And you're right, though. There has to be a certain level of experience of maybe, I guess, not believing everything you hear.
Yes.
And that goes so in line with what you're saying about Warren Buffett. I followed him for years. I think he's the GOAT of traditional finance.
He is the GOAT.
He is. But when I heard him say in a few interviews, it has no intrinsic value, it has no utility, it can't make any money. And then he said, well, like, how much have you looked into it? I haven't really looked into it. Like that, I was kind of like, well, and he could be right. He could still be right, but making an assumption on something you haven't learned about doesn't make much sense to me.
Right.
So I say that to say, I think experience, patience, and knowledge, because without patience, it doesn't matter how much you learn. You can throw the whole bankroll at it and still screw up the whole time. The patience for me in business, without a doubt, has been. I want to put patience first, but I do understand that you got to.
It's almost instinctive.
I want to put it first, but experience, you have to get punched in the chin enough times to even have patience,
Right.
to even have that patience. So,
Yeah.
but all three of them, they could rank first without a doubt. That was good. You got anything in closing? That was good. I liked it. You got anything in closing? I'm good.
Oh, do I have anything in closing?
Yeah, in closing. Let's
I
fire it
thought
off.
you said something completely different. That's why I laughed.
Oh, what do you think? Oh, I want to know. What did I say? What did it sound?
No, I can't even remember. It was just like, I don't remember what you said, but it was something in alignment with, and that's the way it is. It was the way you said it. It was just funny.
And that's the way the crypto builds.
No, I've got nothing else.
Okay. Well, builders, thank you for sliding by. If you're feeling squirrely, stop by tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, not Central. Those are universal terms around here. And keep on building.
That was